Good evening from Las Vegas. I'm here to check out version 2 of Flight Tampa's Las Vegas airport and city. As a lot of you know, Flight Tampa is one of the best developers out there for scenery products, and Las Vegas is no exception. One of the highlights for version 2 was including the MGM Sphere, for example, which is currently at my 12 o'clock, and it has the various projections that are displayed in the Sphere, in addition to the Vegas night lighting that you see now along the strip. So it's a pretty nice effect to have on the simulator, just overall the appearance of Las Vegas. So I want to take the BBJ on a very short trip, very light also, over to Santa Barbara. I was entering my data for the flight, and pretty much all set to go. It's gonna be mainly a westerly track. We just gotta follow the sit out of Vegas first. We're gonna take off to the north, make a U-turn, and then start heading southwest and eventually west, and we're gonna be landing on runway 25, so we'll be over the water, to not just because of the wind direction, but also to abide by noise abatement in the area. So like I said, that's pretty much all set to go, and our current location, like I said, is Vegas. So we're gonna go to the airport here, and we're gonna make our way over to runway 1 right for departure. And I can also use 1 left, but I'm just gonna stick to the one that SimBrief assigned. Later in the week, I'll check out the airline parking and look at some of the improvements there. And I also want to make sure, I'm going to double check real quick that I do have my traffic FSTL already injected into the program. So I'm going to just go to my main screen real quick and check that. Yeah, we seem to be operating with traffic. Okay, great. So yeah, we're all set to go. Now I see some traffic there moving. So we're going to make our way out of Vegas as quickly as possible. We'll go over our pre-flight here. Oxygen is tested at 100%. Navigation, transfer, and display switches are normal auto. Got our window heat on. Pressurization mode selector set to auto, and our cruise will be 360. I'm gonna see if during departure we have any kind of restrictions. Nope. So I'm gonna go straight to 360. It should be a very brief cruise considering the short distance between here and Santa Barbara. Okay, 360. I also set it on the MCP. Setting this thing works a lot better when your track IR is perfectly still, so just let me roll it up to 360. Otherwise it gets confused and starts going up and down. Up or down. So 360. Okay, there we go. Our heading out of Vegas will be 014. Make sure the parking brake is set. I'm also gonna switch to my APU generators. Hard to see them. Okay, there we go. So I got my logo lights on, I got my nav lights on, okay. Double check levers are cut off, and that's all set. We're also going to do our performance calculation, and again, we have a very light aircraft. We should be able to get off the ground very fast. We got our OFP data for our flight. Go to runway 1 Romeo, 1 right. Aircraft data, we want optimum flaps, optimum rating, packs on. Current weather 340 at 10, so that's why we're using runway 1 for departure. Yeah, we have a very light aircraft. We're gonna do a D-rated takeoff, TO2, flaps 5. It's gonna give us a V rotate of 126. So yeah, we're gonna have a very short takeoff roll, even with the D-rated takeoff. So that translates into 49 degrees assumed air temperature. TO2 for D-rate. Flaps 5. So FMC says 125, 126, 131. Tablet 125, 126, 131. With that, we'll do before start. Flight deck door closed and locked. No fuel in center. Fuel pumps on. I'm also gonna just turn on my dimmer while I do the pre-flight, just to make sure we're clicking in the right place. Sometimes it's a little hard to see. So let's see. I'm gonna go to a dim dome light. Passenger signs are on. Windows are locked. Mention our V2 is 131. Our heading initial is 014. Cruise 360. And I already cross-referenced the takeoff speed, so now I'm just going to actually enter them in the FMC. 125, 126, 131. 125, 126, 131. CDU pre-flight completed. Rudder aileron trim, free and 0. Taxi takeoff briefing completed. And we'll get our anti-collision light on. Before start complete. Okay. No tug required, so we're gonna just remove our ground equipment and get our engine started. So we have our parking brake on, we have our APU generator on, so we can disconnect. Chocks off. Get our N2 displayed here, and we'll go with number 2. And those are my sound effects for my cockpit, so I guess my co-pilot's a little bit under the weather. So hopefully I don't catch anything. Okay, make sure we get packs off. It's a little bit hard to see sometimes. Okay, now packs off, and we'll get number 2 running here. Okay, and 2 is running. Let's get up N2 to 25 and ignition. number 1. Our flight path is 281 nautical miles. So ignite number 1. I'll get my armrest down in the meantime. I have been monitoring the sphere, how many patterns it has displayed since we began, but you can definitely see it in action there. Okay, we have ignition, and we're gonna go ahead and switch to generators. Okay, before taxi, generators on, propellant on, anti-ice off, isolation valve, auto, start switches continuous, recall is checked, auto brake set to RTO, start levers, idle detent, flight controls, fully up, check, fully centered, check, fully down, check, fully centered, checked, fully right, checked, fully centered, checked, fully left, check, fully centered, checked, and we'll check the rotor as well. Rotor fully right, check, rotor fully centered, checked, rotor fully left, check, rotor fully centered, checked. So lower display unit off, and ground equipment all clear, ready to taxi. It's probably gonna take a couple of screenshots since this is an update. And I am not sure what that 737 or Embraer is doing over there, but it's just flying right into the strip. So I guess they were eager to go gambling. Not sure what's going on there. Alright, so I'm gonna take a quick screenshot. And I'll probably do a screenshot during rotation as well to get a good view of the city. Okay, here we go. Check.
V1 rotate.
Okay, so I'm done with the screenshots. Let's focus on flying here. Accelerate to 250. Flaps up. Retreads off. Command A. So with the scenery update, frames are pretty decent. Not seeing any stuttering of any kind, and it definitely brings some life to Vegas for sure. Okay, already getting ready to pass 10,000, so we'll turn the landing lights off.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet, Bombardier, 7 Juliet Whiskey. Skywest Tree 8, descend and maintain 7,000 feet. Bombardier 7 Juliet Whiskey, descend and maintain 12,000 feet.
After takeoff, bleeds on, packs auto.
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet, Skywest Tree 8.
Gear up and off, flaps up, no lights. After takeoff, checklist complete.
Descend and maintain 13,000
So looking at about 45 minutes of flight time to Santa Barbara.
Descend and maintain 6,600 feet. Keep speed not above 200 knots.
Gonna switch to weather radar, even though we really don't have one, and it's also a beautiful night here in the desert. Still got a little bit of dusk from the sunset. And let's do another external view of Vegas from this distance. Yeah, you can see the beam on the Luxor. It looks great. It looks really good. So, like I said, later in the week I want to check out the airliner area. So I'll reproduce an airliner flight out of Vegas or into Vegas. We'll see. So once we are descending into Santa Barbara, I'm gonna resume the video. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, just began descent to Santa Barbara. On my left, you can see the Los Angeles area. I'm a little suspicious that the FMC did not start the descent until just now, and we're 85 nautical miles away, so probably gonna need to do a quick holding pattern just to descend a little more. Not sure what happened there, but I usually start a descent especially for a cruise of 360, should have started the descent around 130 nautical miles out. But we'll see how it does. I know I'm a very light BBJ2, but still seems like a late start to a descent. If anything, let's just do some speed management here and descent management. I'm gonna put the air brake out and get some vertical speed here. See if we can descend faster. So this part of the country, if you've never been here, it's a lot of busy airspace. You have Long Beach, Los Angeles International Airport, Burbank, Venice. So a lot of commercial and private traffic and general aviation. SoCal is a very busy airspace, to say the least. And most of the year is really great weather, so that's why the visibility is so good. And you can still see the dusk. And we've been airborne 33 minutes since we left Vegas. I mentioned this before, but my next wish list for a service update is a dark night sky. This night sky, you can see the gas clouds, essentially the center of the galaxy, or the spiral arm of the galaxy, because the center of the galaxy is more visible in the southern hemisphere, and every star is pretty much lit up, so it looks more like a planetarium than it does the real night sky. Even at this altitude, yeah, you'll see a lot of stars, but again, the sky will be much darker than this. This is very well lit right now. Even when you're at the surface, the sky is equally well lit, and when you're dealing with LA, for example, there is so much city light, there is all this air pollution. It'd be very unrealistic for the sky to be so sparkly, to have so many stars. I already made the landing calculation, which will have us coming in at 135 knots, flaps 30, auto brake 3. It's a short runway. We're going to be using about 65-70% of the runway, 6,000 footer. So we have our VREF, our minimums, our approach briefing, just to go over it with you. We are looking at runway 25, It's a currently assigned runway, so it's a VOR approach. I want to make it a visual approach. The weather is so nice, so I got the VOR dialed in and everything, but I just want to just use my eyeballs and stick rudder, throttles. Just I want to get the airplane on the ground by myself without any help from the instruments or from automation. So we will probably be parking once we exit the runway. Probably make a U-turn on the November taxiway, go down the Alpha taxiway, and then cross the Foxtrot taxiway and cross the runway again to get into the northern private aviation area. The airline area is in the southeast part of the airfield, and there's also some transient general aviation below the terminal, but I think this northern part has room for a 737. Also going to turn my terrain radar on just to make sure before I hit the ocean. I want to see what's below me or in front of me with the terrain, because I'm not too familiar with the areas north of LA Airport, LAX. So I just want to double check. So it looks like the mountains are going to be on our right. Okay, so yeah, we're in pretty good shape. So we're at 20,000 feet with 55 miles to go, 55 nautical miles. So I want to see how well this accelerated descent is working. So far so good. And let's get the latest forecast. So Santa Barbara still got winds out of the west at 4 knots, so that's why they assigned runway 25. 10-mile visibility, clear. Altimeter 30.01. So we're gonna go ahead and enter that setting. And then we'll see what the tower has. There's also there can be a little bit of a discrepancy between what SimBrief has and what the actual simulator has, but that's fine. The approaches, the VOR approach and the GPS approach are also offset, because you can see here the line, the dashed or the dotted white line. That's the runway heading. But we're gonna come in from the left and then line up with the runway towards the end. But again, I'm expecting a very nice visual conditions, and again, I really enjoy hand flying the aircraft rather than the predictable ILS intercept, localizer intercept, glide slope intercept. This is when you get to do it by hand, it's a lot more enjoyable, and it's good practice too. I think it's very easy to get complacent with automated arrivals. I'm gonna do one more altitude check. Now we're 37 nautical miles, 11,000 feet. So maybe this descent actually worked out, so we don't have to do any holding pattern to descend further or slow down further. Once I get below 10,000, I'm gonna get it to 240 knots. So as we're slowing down here, so that's Santa Barbara in the at 12 o'clock essentially. So we're gonna start turning towards here very soon. We're gonna sail along the coastline essentially. I mentioned we're offset from the approach, and just knowing California rules, SoCal and NorCal, there's a lot of noise abatement rules. It's already evening time, so they don't want us flying over the city and making noise essentially. So that's why we're gonna stay on the coastline and make a last minute left turn into the runway. Once I have visual, I'll be able to have a better idea about how the approach will work. I think I've only done Santa Barbara on the simulator a few times, and that's using the ILS on runway 7, which is entirely over water, if I recall correctly. So I need to get refamiliarized. It's been a while, but I'm just gonna follow this procedure. And we're at 240. Let me get it down to about 220. And if anything, let's see, I'm going to 2100 for my final approach altitude, and then I need to reset to 4000 for any go-arounds. Okay, 17 nautical miles. And we go flaps 1. Okay, let's see what the tower says.
Santa Barbara Tower, 738 is 12 miles east, 3,100 feet with uniform to land.
738 Santa Barbara Tower. Altimeter tree 0.02, wind 258 at tree. Fly straight in runway 25.
Make straight in
Okay,
runway 25.
ATC agrees with
738.
SimBrief. So we're on runway 25. And I've made visual contact with the airport. So I'm gonna start finishing up our landing here so I can manually fly the airplane. So we'll get our continuous switches on. Full lights. And I'm just gonna arm the speed brake.
Santa Barbara Tower, SkyWest tree 2 at runway 25, ready for departure IFR to Portland. SkyWest tree 2, altimeter tree 0.02, wind 258 at tree. Cleared for takeoff runway 25.
Okay, I have control.
Cleared for takeoff runway 25, SkyWest tree 2. 738, wind 258 at tree. Clear to land runway 25.
Clear to land runway 25, 738.
Continue. Okay, flaps 30. Landing checklist complete.
SkyWest tree 2, contact Los Angeles Center on 119.05. Good day. SkyWest tree 2. Goodbye.
Approaching minimums. 200.
Landing.
Minimums. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brake up. Reverse green. Manual braking. You notice FS Realistic has a very snarky first officer.
Turn next taxiway.
Not sure why he was laughing. It felt like a pretty smooth landing. okay to clean up.
Contact ground on 121.7.
Going to 121.7, 738.
And it looks like we have a little bit of ocean fog that can also be very common here in SoCal. I'm gonna go ahead and get the APU fired up. And also let's use our map here, because I mentioned I want to park in this general aviation area, so I gotta turn in the next taxiway and cross the runway again, and we'll see what this parking area looks like. For some reason, I was expecting this to have better lighting as far as the airport itself, but maybe not. So here's the corporate aviation parking in the north part of the field, but I would have imagined that being well lit here, but it's not. And this is actually a custom airport. I think I got it on Orbex, if I'm not mistaken. And I've only flown here during the day. So yeah, this could definitely use better lighting. So I'm gonna just pretend this is our final parking spot here. So the terminal area is in the back over there, commercial aviation, and it's very well lit compared to here, so oh well. That's fine. Let's get our brakes on. APU running. Shutdown.
Santa Barbara Tower Beechcraft November 421, Mike Alpha ready for departure runway 25 IFR to Burbank. Beechcraft November 421, Mike Alpha, altimeter tree 0.02, wind 258 at tree. Cleared for takeoff runway 25.
Okay, we'll do a cascade here to make sure we cover everything. Window heat off, probe heat off. Hydraulic set.
Cleared for takeoff
Okay.
runway 25 Beechcraft November 421,
So there's
Mike Alpha.
the SUV service for our VIPs. We got the stairway extended and the doors open. So yeah, the only disappointing thing about this is just not having a very well lit corporate aviation area. It would look a lot nicer. Okay, we're all set for this evening. I'm off to bed, and as always, thank you for watching. Take care.